Hello, my name's Gavin. This is Genre Books. It's Tuesday, it's Tag Tuesday, and the tag this week is the Booktube Confessions tag. I was tagged by Lecton reading from the depths. The tag was created by Becky at Becky's Book Reviews. There are 10 prompts. The first prompt: this is how to win friends and influence people. What is an unpopular book opinion or preference that you have? I think I'm going to say that I prefer colonial literature to post-colonial literature. Now, people don't use the phrase colonial literature, but I'm using that as a catch-all term to the literature that surrounds Western expansion. Post-colonial literature often talks about something very different and is much more sophisticated and nuanced for the most part. But the stories really do grab me, and it's everything from Robinson Crusoe to Heart of Darkness. Now, I will not have my post bona fides questioned, but I would admit that I probably wouldn't enjoy it as much were I not from one of those countries who was doing the colonizing. But I'm only choosing this literature because I like the literature, not because I want to apologize for the actions of my country over centuries. And in fact, if you want to find the people that have been oppressed by the rule of the English for the longest time, look no further than England. Prompt number 2. Has your reading taste changed over the years? Yes, it's changed and changed back. When I first started learning to love reading independently as an adolescent, it was science fiction, it was fantasy, it was quite a lot of horror. As a late adolescent, moving into university years, I decided that, I must be studying more of the established canon of literature and reading more contemporary literature. I don't regret that because it just expanded the horizons of what I was reading. I possibly regret not having had the time for it to be all encompassing, but what's the point in regretting that when I think that probably in the last few years I've rectified that. I can reconcile it, I can read it all. And I will now read a lot more stuff. My taste in literature has expanded with my waistline. So science fiction, fantasy and horror are back on the menu, as is now pulp literature, as is now westerns, and recently detective and mystery stories. So it's all good. Prompt number 3. What genre do you read to get you out of a book slump? I'm glad to say, and never say never, but I don't have book slumps. I have periods where I haven't read, but that is because I've been doing something else, not because I've fallen out of love with books. Possibly I have been lucky in avoiding this because I usually have 2 or 3 or more books on the go at any given time. So if perhaps I'm not really getting on with one, I have something else to be reading. I don't not read the next thing because I've stopped reading the thing that I'm in the middle of. I don't think this is an earth-shattering strategy. That's just how I read. Prompt number 4. What are some of your automatic buy authors? unfortunately, I have too many of these. So I've said before, Arthur C. Clarke. I would add to that Ian M. Banks. I would add to that recently, actually, Philip Jose Farmer. The more I read about what that guy has written, the more I want to get those books. But if I'm in a shop and I see a Ballantine adult fantasy that I do not own, I am snapping that up, because that's the book collection I want to complete, and I'm still some way off doing so. Prompt number 5. How many chances do you give an author before you won't try them again? I don't think you can have a hard and fast rule over that. I have read books that are so awful that I will not read that author again. Usually, however, that is style over subject. I think if I read something where I really don't like the subject, if I see that writer again, I will be more wary about what that subject is and tailor how much I want to read it based on that. I don't know. If you want to put a number on it, 2. And I say that for no other reason than I've read 2 Dan Brown books. Prompt number 6. Do you have anything you like to do or listen to while you read? That depends on where I am when I'm reading. If I am here at home, then all I like to do is sit and read. If I am on the go, on my commute, there is a lot of extraneous noise going on, from people's conversations on their phone to the endless announcements on the tannoy to be vigilant about people who want to do you harm, then I will just have some music on and read. So it just cancels out what's going on around me. It's music, it's usually instrumental music, and it's usually ambient music. And it can't be too ambient, because I do actually want to drown out extraneous sounds. But it can't be too intrusive, because I want to concentrate on what I'm reading. I don't use music to heighten my reading experience. Usually it's just a tool to aid concentration. Prompt number 7. How far do you read before DNF'ing? I never say DNF. I have books I have not finished, but they are just books I will be getting back to at some point. Usually I will persevere. And for the books that aren't finished yet, there's no hard and fast rule about where I have got to. I would probably guess that most of them that I haven't finished yet, I have not yet got to the halfway mark. I think once you're round the horn, something clicks, and I will just carry on until the end regardless. Prompt number 8. Do you ever find yourself making the same face as the characters in the book? I'm glad this prompt is in here, because I now know it's not just me. Or maybe it is, and this is all some elaborate trap. Prompt number 9. Rereading. Yes, no, depends. Well, exactly. I'm not a big rereader. I will be rereading things in the future. Usually, the few times I have reread something where I haven't had to for study has been because I just can't remember. Now, I haven't reread anything by accident yet, I'm glad to say, although I don't rule that out in the future either. But I suppose it's got to the point now where there are books I've not read for 40 years that are not as fresh in the memory as they might be. But I know I have a remembrance of enjoying them. So rereading is going to happen, but I think it's still going to be a very small proportion of what I read. There are just too many books I haven't read yet. Prompt number 10, tag others. I will do, and they will be below the line. So thank you to Lecton for tagging me. Thank you to Becky for creating the tag, and thank you to you for watching. And until next time.